Today, we are going to build one of our most popular items, a media reactor from the U-Built section of our website. In addition to everything that comes in the box, you're going to need an adjustable wrench and Teflon tape. We'll also be covering the biopellet nozzle installed here if you purchase that option. To get started, we need to take the protective paper off all the acrylic parts. The first part of assembly, we are going to glue the flange to the tube of the reactor. We have an O-ring groove here, and I want to make sure it's oriented towards the table for glue up. It's a good idea to test fit this step before gluing, so you have a feel for how much pressure it takes to slide the tube into the cutout halfway, and then flush to the bottom of the flange. This is what we are shooting for as the final placement. Now that you have test fit the assembly, you can take it apart and get out your glue. So now that we have everything ready, we can put the body tube about halfway into the flange. Then run a bead of glue around the perimeter. You're going to then push the body tube down until it's fully flush with the table and run another bead of glue to smooth out the joint. After gluing, you want to wait at least 1 hour before moving on to the next step. After the glue has set up, we can flip it over and glue on the base. Take your time here and make sure that the top lines up with the bottom. If everything is not perfectly aligned, still work fine, just not look quite as nice. Once you have it like you want it, you can grab the glue and make a bead around the perimeter. Then take a short piece of PVC and glue it to the base. Ideally, you want to wait 24 hours before final assembly so the glue has plenty of time to cure. For final assembly, we are first going to wrap the threaded fittings with Teflon tape. When screwing the fittings to the lid, you want to make sure that the little groove in the center of the lid is facing down. This is there to give the coupling a few extra threads to grab onto when putting the top media plate on later. The elbow fittings, you just screw on by hand. It does help to install the union barb so you can get a little more leverage on the fitting. If you're putting together an MR5, you will need a wrench to get the straight barb on flush to the lid. Now we can install the bottom filter plate to the down tube. This is a friction fit, no glue needed here. Just start it out on the table, and with a firm push, it should go right on. The bottom of the plate should be about an inch above the bottom of the pipe. For the top plate, we will use just a little bit of glue here on the coupling. You want to make sure that the threaded side of the coupling is facing up. I'm going to cover the bio-pellet nozzle install for those of you who purchase that option. Measure 2.5 inches from the end of the tube and cut it off. This can be done with handsaw, PVC cutters, or a chop saw as shown here. Now that the tube is cut, we can glue on the nozzle. I'm marking the pipe about 3/8 to 1/2 inch with my thumbnail here, and then applying a bit of glue. If you don't move your thumb, you can just slide the nozzle back on and you know exactly where your mark was. After you've waited the full 24 hours, you can start the final assembly. We're going to put the thumb screws on, as well as put the O-ring in the groove. Then place the cap on the short piece of PVC at the base. Since I have the bio-pellet nozzle down tube assembly here, I'm going to finish up the reactor using this one. If you have the media plate on yours, the process is the same. You can see now where the coupling fits down onto the recess of the lid that I was talking about previously. Place the lid on the reactor and we're almost done. Hopefully you found this assembly video helpful, and if you haven't already, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel.